News, y'all. KPVIDEO News, y'all.
All right, folks. And I'm here with the follow-up on the Breonna Taylor case. Just like I said on my last broadcast, I told you it was going to happen, that this thing wasn't going to end well. And I mean, wow. But the thing that upsets me the most about this, you know, I mean, of course, the first thing that you think about is the people that you know, Breonna Taylor, that lost her life at the hands of these corrupt cops. And what they were looking for, you know, only they know. But after the fact, I mean, the person that they had already arrested the guy that they were supposedly had got the warrant for. The guy, he didn't even live at that house. Anyway, I'm upset with Daniel Cameron. That's who I'm upset with, the so-called Attorney General of Kentucky. Oh man, every day I turn on a TV, or every day I pick up a magazine or a book or whatever and read. It seems like it's a new coon that pops up every single day. It's a new one. Now, I had no idea, because I didn't watch the Republican convention garbage that they had over there. And I had no idea that this same Attorney General that prosecuted this case was the same guy that went and spoke at Trump's at the Republican National Convention. I'm gonna say that again. Daniel Cameron, the black Attorney General for Kentucky, spoke at Trump's at the RNC, at the Republican National Convention. And that puts a whole different twist on this whole thing. Now I understand why no charges were filed. This guy's a coon. He was following orders. He got orders from Trump to follow his narrative. And when he started talking about made a statement about outside agitators and people in the entertainment field, and people from outside of Kentucky trying to do this and do that. Man, he sounded so much like Trump when he said that. And it's like, wow, man, this thing is really, truly upsetting. So today the protesters began marching, and ex-cop got indicted. The two others said to be justified in the use of force in the Breonna Taylor case. And this is an update. And protesters in Louisville and supporters across the United States have called for justice for Breonna Taylor for more than 6 months. Today, a Kentucky grand jury indicted one of the police officers involved in the incident with charges of wanton endangerment for shooting a gun into a neighboring apartment. The bullets went through Breonna Taylor's apartment into the apartment next door apartment, so they brought him up on the charges of the bullets going into the neighbor's apartment, not for the bullets that he shot into Breonna Taylor's house. So basically there were absolutely no charges brought against these cops for killing Breonna Taylor. Zero charges. So that wanton endangerment charge, if convicted, which I highly doubt he'll get convicted, especially if this hired coon, Attorney General Daniel Cameron is going to be the one prosecuting the case. He won't be found guilty, and even if he did get found guilty, it's like the sentence is like 1 to 5 years. They'll probably give him probation, and probation, or have him at home on home arrest. So he'll be somewhere in Hawaii, man, drinking pina coladas. So it's really highly upsetting that Breonna Taylor, 26-year-old ER technician, was killed after officers used a search warrant at her apartment shortly after 1 a.m. on March 13th, looking for drugs and cash as part of a larger narcotics investigation connected to her former boyfriend. She was shot 6 times. And so, hey, the latest updates, you got groups gathered in Jefferson Square Park the heart of the protest for the past 125 days before the decision was announced. Protesters have since marched from downtown Louisville. Some have been arrested after police formed a line stopping protesters. And Attorney General Coon Cameron said his investigation determined that Mattingly and Cosgrove were justified in their actions, that they did announce themselves as police officers before the shooting. Now, which one is it? First of all, you said it was a no-knock warrant. So if there was a no-knock warrant, that meant you didn't have to announce yourself. But now you're saying that the cops announced themselves. So which one is it? Which one is it? It can only be one or the other. It's no point in getting a no-knock warrant if you're going to go there and announce yourself. So somebody's lying. And Brett Hankerson, who was fired in June, is facing 3 felony counts, and bail was set at $15,000. A warrant has been issued for his arrest. And last week, the city of Louisville announced a $12 million settlement with the Breonna Taylor family, which included a host of police reforms. Now, if you're not guilty of anything, and the cops are not guilty, why did the city of Louisville give a $12 million settlement to Breonna Taylor's family? It just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. I mean, if you're guilty of something, then it's like, okay, well, you pay a settlement. Why would you give a settlement of $12 million to her family if nothing wrong was done? And since something wrong was done and you paid them $12 million, that means that people that did the wrong should be held accountable for what they did. And that's simply not the case. Brett Hankerson, the sole Louisville police officer facing charges in the case, was booked at Shelby County Detention Center and released about a half hour later, the jail confirmed. Hankerson was released today after being indicted on 3 counts of first-degree wanton endangerment, booked at 4:30, and he was out of there by 5. Wow. Breonna Taylor's family is dismayed at the decision. They said they're mad as hell. The Youth Homeless Center in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where she works as a residential advisor, Taylor's cousin, Tawana Gordon, watched with tears in her eyes as Kentucky Attorney General Coon Cameron announced that only one of the officers was indicted by a grand jury, but not for killing Taylor. And she said she's not surprised. Minutes after Cameron's press conference ended, but she said she's mad as hell because nothing's changing. Taylor's cousin said the family will continue to fight for justice while hoping the pending FBI investigation will reach the same conclusion they've reached, that Taylor's civil rights were violated. So I don't think you're going to get anything out of that. If you got somebody like Bill Barr over there involved, if you got Barr involved and he got orders from Trump not to carry this case any farther than what they have to, I don't think you're going to get anything out of this. Breonna Taylor's mother left the Attorney General's press conference without talking to media, and her attorneys said she would have no comment today. And Governor Andy Beshear called on Attorney General Daniel Cameron today to release evidence from his office investigation into the fatal police shooting of Breonna Taylor online. Everyone can and should be informed, and those that are currently feeling frustration, feeling hurt, they deserve to know more, Beshear said at a press conference Wednesday. And they deserve to see the facts for themselves. Beshear also delivered a message to protesters promising to listen as people make their voices heard and to be a partner in moving forward. Still, he urged protesters not to engage in violence, noting that militia groups have been spotted walking in downtown Louisville. And so everybody's in shock. People are in shock. The protesters started marching in Louisville almost immediately after the charges. The protesters began moving together away from Jefferson Square, which has been the heart of the protest, toward Broadway. Several police vehicles trailed closely behind. The National Guard was also present in Humvees. Protesters approached police and yelled at them on 4th and Broadway, but continued their march, moving east on Kentucky Street. And And it's like, wow, man, this is just crazy. So he was just charged with wanton endangerment, not even for shooting into her apartment, but for shooting into other apartments. People are in shock, but I'm not. I'm not in shock because, like I said in my last episode, if the judges and the people in the city of Louisville had already started last week, and they had already came out last Thursday and Friday stating that the courthouses were going to be closed this week, that already let me know that they already had made up their decision. So this whole lie about them giving the grand jury, he claimed, the attorney Coon Cameron today claimed that he gave the grand jury the information on Monday. Now they've been gathering all this information for for months. They've been gathering this information for months, and they just finally gave the information to the grand jury on Monday. And here it is, Wednesday. They've already determined that, so it's like, wow, man, it's I'm at a loss for words, folks. There's very few times that you're going to get that, but I'm just like, I just don't know what to say in this situation. It's happened again and again and again and again. Now, there's another case, and I'm gonna have to look that up. But it was another case that happened in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Things were kind of reversed. It was a black cop, and that black cop shot a white lady, and shot and killed a white lady. He's in jail right now. He's in prison. That black cop's in prison. So it's like, this question is going out to all the black people that are in law enforcement. Your black cop brother just got put in jail. He got sent to prison for shooting a white lady. Here you have your white cops that get absolutely no time for shooting a black woman. How do you feel when, as a black cop, as a black person being involved in law enforcement, when you go to work on a daily basis and you deal with these people on a daily basis and you see the racism? I know you see it because you experience it yourselves when it comes time for promotions, when it comes time for dealing with situations that affect you as a black person in law enforcement. How do you sleep at night? I want to know, how do you sleep at night knowing that you're part of the systematic racism that keeps black people corralled, it keeps black people incarcerated, that keeps black people getting murdered with absolute impunity by the cops? How do you sleep at night as being a black person involved in law enforcement, knowing that what you're doing is helping them perpetuate the same nonsense that has been going on for 400 years? How do you look at yourself in the mirror? How do you sleep at night? I don't get it. What is it that you have to gain as a black person involved in law enforcement? If you're not helping your community and you're not trying to help your people get to the point of saying, okay, well, hey, man, let's try to have some kind of dialogue with the community. If you're not trying to be a buffer and you're not trying to uplift your community and you're just helping these people murder, assassinate, incarcerate your black people, your people that look exactly like you, then you're absolutely part of the problem as well. Additional officers included 3 detectives present at Taylor's apartment: Tony James, Michael Campbell, and Michael Nobles, along with Detective Joshua James, who swore out the affidavit to get the warrant for Taylor's apartment. Hankerson is not under internal investigation because he lost his job. Wow. In Louisville, Mayor Greg Fisher announced a 9 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. curfew tonight and urged people to peacefully protest. So this is, wow. This is what happened. Mattingly, Miles Cosgrove, and Brett Hankerson returned. This is the situation. Police suspected Taylor was receiving drugs and drug money at her ex-boyfriend's behalf, but no drugs and cash were found at her apartment, and attorneys for her family have questioned the reliability of the information. So if you were coming to her house looking for money and drugs, you've already arrested her ex-boyfriend that she hadn't had contact with for months. Your investigation was so bad that you had absolutely positively no information, no new information that this guy did not live there anymore. He no longer lived there. Not only that, he was already in jail. He was already in jail. So your information was way, way, way off base. It was outdated. Your information was outdated. He no longer lived at that property, and she had a new boyfriend that was living there, that had been living there for months. So they did a terrible, terrible job of investigating this situation. And so, you know, additionally, the FBI is conducting its own investigation into the shooting since May that could result in civil rights violations. And we'll see about that. Like I said, I don't believe that's going to happen, because if Bill Barr got anything to do with it, if Trump got anything to do with it, which he does, because like I said, he invited this Attorney General to speak at the Republican National Convention, and the guy was there. He was there. Coon Cameron, Daniel Cameron, Coon Cameron. You know, wow, man, this is what a setup. What a setup. You don't really need to have an all-white jury when you got an Oreo for an Attorney General. That's just as bad. Just as bad. So, I mean, people, you really need to read the book Uncle Tom's Cabin. So Uncle Tom, this is a little bit of history. If you read the book, Uncle Tom is actually the hero in the book. And people call, you know, say Uncle Tom's and all that. It was Uncle Remus and Sambo. Sambo was the one. Sambo was the one that was the bastard in that particular book in Uncle Tom's Cabin. This is just a little sidebar here. So Sambo Cameron, working for Trump, working for Donald Trump, basically came back with a sham investigation, a sham outcome, and the whole thing is just garbage. It took you all this time to come up with this garbage, this nonsense. And so the people in Kentucky and the people nationwide and worldwide and women all over the world are highly, highly upset about this, because it's saying, well, hey, you can just go in and just shoot and kill an unarmed woman that had absolutely positively nothing to do with this guy any longer. It's been months since she had anything to do with him, didn't have any kids by him or anything on that level, had no ties to him. And but she's dead. She's dead. She lost her life because of a botched investigation, and it was three of these cops that had just got involved in another botched investigation last year when they ended up shooting a person, and they was at the wrong house. So another botched investigation, another person lost their life, and, you know, like I said, 3 cops involved in a botched investigation last year was involved in this case. So it's time for change, man. It's time for some police reform, serious police reform, to start nationwide.
Right. KPVIDEONEWS, y'all. It's time for
Peace.